Hidden within the distress of adversity, failure, and even disaster is the foundation of not only resilience, but also transformation to a better you, perhaps a better world. Welcome to ICISF Quick Tips. I'm Andy Everly, your host for today's episode, titled Champions of Adversity, What They Do That Most People Don't. With me today to explain this provocative title and what it means to all of us is Dr. George Everly Jr. Dr. Everly is on the faculties of the Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health and the Johns Hopkins University School of Medicine. He is also co-founder of the International Critical Incident Stress Foundation. Welcome, Dr. Everly. Thanks for joining me.
Well, thanks so much. I'm happy to be here.
So, I've got to know, who are these champions of adversity?
Champions of adversity are psychologically hardy people. They overcome adversity. They conquer adversity. Our research showed that there were probably three groups of psychologically hardy people. One group we could call the resilience group. Those are the people that bounce back from adversity. But there was also a group that seemed to have resistance, almost psychological immunity to the adverse effects of critical incidents. We could call them the presilience group. There was a third group, though. Those folks not only bounced back, they sprang forward from adversity. They emerged from adversity bigger, better, bolder, stronger than before. We didn't have a word for those, so we had to come up with one, and we chose the term salience, the salience group, from the Latin meaning to leap. So those three groups, those are the champions of adversity.
It seems like you expanded the definition of what we think of resilience into three types of people, which is not the way most people think of resilience.
Well, that's right. It's more complicated than we originally thought.
Okay, so that's who the champions of adversity are. What is it these champions of adversity do to be so psychologically hardy? What quick tips can you give us?
Well, here are four tips, four things that seem to help these champions of adversity overcome adversity. The first is attitude. Attitude is the key. It's the launch pad for transformative change. These folks understand the power of the self-fulfilling prophecy. It was written in the 1920s. If men define situations as real, they become real in their consequences. Simply said, if you truly believe some outcome will be realized as a result of your actions, the likelihood of that outcome actually increases. So those who bounced back and bounced forward had optimistic visions. They harnessed the energy that emerged from such a belief. They were supercharged by it. There was a second characteristic, a second tip, if you will, that anyone can learn. They refused to allow adversity to define them or shape their future. They possessed a rather dogmatic refusal to become a victim. They looked beyond being a victim to being a survivor and ultimately to being a champion. Failure actually increased their motivation. The third tip or thing we can learn from these champions of adversity is that they tended to use a psychological technique called cognitive reinterpretation or cognitive reappraisal, or reframing sometimes. Research indicates that through concerted effort, the positive reappraisal of negative events can actually activate brain regions associated with positivity, not negativity. Repetition then creates a positive habit.
So just to be clear, you're saying that learning to reinterpret events can actually rewire the human brain. I know you've written in the Harvard Business Review about a phenomenon known as neuroplasticity, a process where we can literally change the way our brains work through repetition.
Well, exactly. The more you do something, the better you become at it, because the brain rewires itself. This is true for worry and pessimism, but it's also true for optimism. So the fourth takeaway, the fourth thing that we can all learn to do is to grow stronger from adversity by being connected to others. So our champions of adversity realized that climbing out of the abyss is sometimes made easier by having a helping hand. They see friends as a force multiplier. They understand the power of a mentor. They understand the power of a collaborator. As John Donne once wrote in the 1600s, "No man is an island. We're all connected."
There within the angst of failure, adversity, even disaster, is the foundation of not only resilience, but also transformation to a better you, even a better world. Champions of adversity are people who have a vision, refuse to be victims, think positively, and believe they can shape their futures. And they believe there is strength in numbers, friends, family, co-workers. Those who can master adversity help themselves and get out of their own way. So now, it's time to get out of your own way. Thank you for listening to ICISF Quick Tips. Until next time.